Hey guys, this is Julian of Julian Gray Media. Welcome back to the stream. Let me know who you are and where you're from in the comments of this video. The chat, I guess, would be a more appropriate name for it, on the right-hand side of the screen right now. Welcome back to another live stream. This is the September 2021 edition of Fix Your Project. We've been doing this for like 3 years or something now. It's crazy that we've made it this far. Proud of the progression of this live stream series. If you're new to the live stream series, essentially every month patrons of the channel can submit project files for me to quote unquote fix on the stream, and we work on maybe 3 to 5 of them a time. I fix it up, do what I will to it, and then get it back to you so you can release the perfectly repaired project file. Let me know that everyone can hear me okay and that the sound is fine before we start diving into these projects. But if you're interested in submitting your project for next month's stream, make sure to go over to patreon.com/JulianGray. I'm actually going to do a new patron introduction and explanation video because I don't have an updated Patreon video up since like 2017 or something, so it's due for an update. I'm actually going to handle that this week, and I will be uploading the Patreon walkthrough of all my tiers and stuff and becoming a student of mine in that video. So for today's video, though, we are going to dive into some project files. We have, I think, 3 or 4 submissions today. Let me double check that we got all of them for today. I know that we had some late submissions, so I want to make sure that we grab those before we get started here. In the meantime, why don't you guys tell me what you've been up to and some of the projects you've been working on in the chat. We're actually doing a Patreon meetup tonight on Discord at around 3:00 p.m. We do this the second to last Saturday of every month, or maybe it's the last Saturday of every month. Whatever today is the day that we do it, and it's essentially a meetup where you can talk to fellow students of mine and fellow musicians that are up and coming. Let's see, it would be in here. Sorry, I'm just grabbing that really quick, and then we'll get this thing started. Let me confirm that we got them all. Should be good. 2 seconds here. We should be ready to go. Scrolling through my endless list, because we've been doing this for so long now. The submissions got pretty hefty. Alright, cool. We got one more submission that I'm downloading here, and then we're going to grab it. Vestia, your download requires access. You're gonna have to grant me Google access to download it. But everyone else that submitted today, we are ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to our normal visual here, which is this guy. Boom. You're familiar if you've ever watched a Julian Gray YouTube video. We are here. So we are in Ableton Live 10 right now. Vestia, send me the access to your thing if you want me to work on your project. We have 3 projects that aren't Vestia's. Vestia was a late submission, so we're going to get his in if he can grant Google download access in time. We're going to start with Essity here, and he calls it I Don't Know, You Name It, and I'm going to open this up. Hopefully this is a live 10 project. If not, we're going to have to switch to 11. I hate these intermediary periods of changeover. Yep, this is an 11 project. Let's go to the next one just to make sure that none of these are in 10. I'd rather just do them all the 10 ones first and then move up to 11. Fresco Baldi is learning Adobe Premiere. It's been tricky coming off of iMovie. If you're in iMovie and you're trying to learn a video editing workstation, the most obvious step up is to Final Cut Pro, because iMovie actually supports Final Cut actually supports ingesting iMovie projects, if I'm not wrong, and I believe they're very cross-compatible and very comparable. They don't have a lot of they don't have a lot of differences between them. It's just that okay, that one opened. They just don't have a lot of or iMovie doesn't have a lot of the features of Final Cut. Premiere is like a totally different thing because you have like a free timeline and you don't have like the little magnetic timeline like you do in iMovie or whatever. Okay, cool. Okay, we're gonna start things off with Fresco Baldi because we have it open already and it opened up in Live 10. I'm doing all the Live 10 ones first, and we're gonna jump right into it. Also, second. Oh, hi Matt. Matt Fax is in the chat. Fresco Baldi. I think Final Cut is actually cheaper. It's like $100. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing going. And if you guys watch these streams every month, you know Fresco always has really interesting submissions that I'm always in love with. Is that FL Studio? No, it's not. I'm assuming that's sarcasm. As usual, man, I don't know that there's much I would change to this. It's such a different vibe from what I do, and I don't want to push it towards progressive. This is really nice. Ooh. Huge indie game vibes as usual. We gotta get you in Game Studio, man. Matt Fax in the chat suggested a little bit of high end on the hi-hats. I can see that. I kind of get like a lo-fi vibe from this, in that I would push the whole thing like more low pass. That's really cool. Just to play off of that lo-fi feeling, because this has kind of got that boom bap rhythm, you could experiment with like a master low pass filter and do a little bit of automation on it. It might be kind of cool in certain parts, like but like with a super resonance, like. Really play into that like lo-fi boom bap vibe. I don't know if that's the vibe you're going for, but that's like so lo-fi it hurts, you know. Fresco says, I was sort of thinking about home resonance when I finalized this one. I'm unfamiliar with that song, but I will have to check it out. I love this vibe. It sounds like there's some sort of note that's wrong. Not that it's like way wrong, but that is like the wrong key or something. If I look in the EQ, it's like this. I love the the way this snaps in when that really disco-y kind of boom bap bass comes in. But I'm thinking this pad here has a little bit too much like too many harmonics down here in the low mid. I think you have a note in there that's wrong. It's like that one. Yeah, Fresco says it's a major second. It doesn't work exactly. Yeah, I think that's the harmonic that I'm hearing. It's like... Matt Fax, we gotta finish a collab already. I am the real XYZ, they say. Just wanted to ask if you have any tips for submitting to Housetrap, not Mousetrap. I think Housetrap and Mousetrap are the same team, so you'd be submitting to the same people. I can't disclose their contact, but I would just say if I were you, I would do my due diligence and look up Mousetrap on LinkedIn and find the team that runs it. Because that's the way you reach out to, people in this industry that you don't know. Like if I was trying to get on, I don't know, Disciple or like AstroWorks or what have you, I would go on LinkedIn and try to find out the team that runs it, and maybe I'd try to find their contact elsewhere if I could. That would be my 2 cents. Hayes taught me that, actually. Yeah, I mean, like that scoop out of the low mid helps, but it's still like in there. Like the harmonics of that fundamental are still in there, and it's kind of hard on the ears. This guy's nice. I would say this could use a little bit of high end. I don't know what you're doing to it. Doesn't seem to have any initially. Maybe there's like in the source loop it wasn't super high either. I would say if you're gonna do this, I would maybe add a little bit of high end with something like Air by Slate, Fresh Air. Does Joel accept heavy dark house? Joel actually really isn't that involved in Mousetrap. It's a separate team of people that A&Rs and releases the music. He's just kind of the head of it. He supports music that comes out on it, but he's not super involved in the A&Ring process. So. Wonder how much I can add here. It does help a little bit, but he is the founder of Mousetrap, but that doesn't mean he's running it still. Like he is the head of it. It's his label, but he has a team that runs it. And that's just pretty typical of any big label. Like Above and Beyond technically owns Anjuna Beats, but it doesn't mean that they are directly involved in everything. There's teams that run these labels now. This is not having a huge effect. Adds a little bit of crunch though. Maybe you can try a seems over the top. But just an OTT and try this. Like a 20% depth or something, 25, and just a little bit of boost on the high end. A little bit more. Let's compare the compare the spectrum after and before. You could probably multi-band that too, so you have like a crisp, crunchy high end without like destroying your low end with an OTT. But right. Duh. I was like, why is it so dull still? But it's the low pass and the master. World of Vestia says you're low pass and the master there, and yeah, I think it's something I wouldn't typically do, but the fact that this is like a more like lo-fi kind of off kilter left field song, it's not something out of the question that they would do in this genre. Let me just go ahead and turn this off when we're not using it so that we don't end up with any resonance on the peak there. I just want to do this. Yeah. And we're doing the resonance so we get that swishing effect. But yeah, I'm trying to add a little bit of high-end boost to this guy. It needs a little crispness. I think that will add to like this the lo-fi ambience. That's too much. A little bit more on the mid too. I could also be biased because I'm like a sucker for crispness. So if I had any advice to you, man, just like I was saying, just go on LinkedIn and look at Mousetrap's team, and you can find the best people to try to reach out to. It's not Joel. I mean, he's one of the hardest people to reach. Like, it's even hard for us on the label to reach him. So it's probably your best bet to go on LinkedIn or what have you and look up who's running the label. It's not that hard to find, trust me. Hope that helps. Matt was right. Like, the drums and percussion could probably use a little bit of crunch too. I'm just gonna do this on the percussion bus, just a little bump on the top in the mix. But I am a sucker for that high end, so if that's not your style, I totally get it. Maybe a little bit on the break drums too. Creating a little bit of a whine. Don't want that. This is so good sounding though, man. Dude, I'm so surprised that you haven't found like a game studio picking your stuff up yet. This is really solid for like game soundtrack. I might try like a little bit of auto pan too on here, like something like this. A little bit of side-to-side movement, but not at like a super high level, just kind of slower. Adds a little bit of stereo interest. If you want to get really creative, you might try like a Valhalla shimmer or something, like a generative delay. Might create something cool on this guy. just go through like the delay presets. You know, I don't know. This adds a little bit of something to the stereo image. I don't know if you have Shimmer, but it's a pretty good plugin if you don't. I think it's free too. Or I'm sorry, not Shimmer, Supermassive. Yeah, I think it's sounding pretty good. I don't want to push it too much further from this because I think that this is like the soul of the record. There might be a little bit of low end, like kind of dirty mids in here. I'm just gonna. Like that. There's a lot of boxiness in that snare, just kind of. It's like gong. It's kind of weighted, and as we like pull some of that mid out, it really opens that snare up. Problem with that is that you need like separation from top and bottom, like oof, like low cut. I clearly don't want like reverb on our kicks, but on our high end maybe a little bit, like. It has that Minecraft dude all over this. I can't remember his name for the life of me. Every time I have a call, or every time I have a stream like this and your song comes on, I'm like, dude, you sound like the Minecraft guy. You know his name, probably. Yeah, okay, cool. So, sounding good. I think this is a really solid start to the stream. Really, really good. Everybody give Fresco Baldi a clap in the chat. Really, really solid. That's half hour on one song. As usual, I'm very bad at time management. Yes, C418. Fantastic record, though. I love that. Let's go ahead and check out another. All right, so we'll do guard data. I think it's Doom Scroll. I don't know which one it is, but I'm going to assume it's Doom Scroll. Open it in Live 10. If that doesn't work, then we will move on to the next one. Let's see. Oh, it did. So I don't know which one of these it is because he sent me like 3. I think we did infinite bullet time last time. I could be wrong. Let's check this out. Ooh, that is a long intro. Okay, Eddie. I think this is probably twice as long as it needs to be in this intro. Like, this could be condensed down to 8 bars rather than 16. Doesn't need to be a minute long. Probably could be 15 to 20 seconds long. Use Eddie as a reference. I think if you're gonna be building here, it would be best to move some of this back into this section and then have a really big like drop reveal. Yeah, it looks like this is all still build up. Yeah, this whole thing needs to be condensed down to like this long. Yeah, this is too long. So if you look at this from like a logistics and like, you know, the perspective of somebody trying to play this record, this is about 2 minutes 15 without any sort of drums, which is like not great. And then also like, you know, it's gonna be hard for a listener to get through the same sound basically for like 2 minutes. So I would say either add something new, or you can just basically verbatim cut this whole chunk out and it would probably still work. We'll try that out. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Like I was mentioning before, I think this is just extremely long for no reason. The rest of the arrangement isn't really there yet. It's just a drop. But I think that we can literally go in here and cut like chunks of this out that don't need to be in there. Like, first of all, I'll cut the intro like that. And we can say the song starts here. I'll do a time signature change right there. And then, like, literally we could probably grab, like, this whole chunk here and move this here. Oops. Or maybe even like just this part first, so like we segue into it. It just feels so long. That's 4 bars, let's say here. And this build-up starts in a weird spot. It should go here. And then because of that, this is 4 bars and there's a gap. I'm just gonna say this whole chunk can be cut. Don't hate me. Is this moving at all? Yeah. So like this part could probably move here. There's no reason we can't condense this, and I'm just trying to make this optimal for, you know, a listener that's not a music enthusiast. They're not going to listen through, you know, 5 or 2 minutes of build up just to, you know, get to the drums. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do edit delete time. So then we basically consolidated all of that 2 minutes down to about a minute, and that's probably, you know, much stronger. Let's try this. And maybe don't start this so low, so it actually sound like it's in there. Pretty cool idea to start though, for sure. That's like far too loud. Make sure this is not like being blown out in the serum. Oh, it's OTT doing it. Definitely cool elements of this track. Like, it just needs to be worked out. Let's start it down here. Like, maybe we can start opening this more too. And start this actually on the beat, so it's like excuse me, nice sneeze. Hey Justin, welcome to the stream. Okay, there's some cool potential here. I would personally say high pass this bass as we go into this build. This to here too. I don't know what's going on in your like processing on one of these things, but it's very like mono. Might be that actually. I would say just hit. Just so you have a little bit of stereo width here. The mix on this guy is a bit weird too, like the priorities are kind of strange. Like that snare is way too quiet. What is going on here? Is that the snare? It sounds like really destroyed. I'm gonna assume that that's like the buildup he's using. Yeah, that's not a good build-up snare. I don't know if that's like I can't tell if that's the actual sample or if it's like the processing he has on there, but it's like really like, yeah, that's lousy. You need a new snare sample for this. This is not good. You'd almost be better off with no snare at all. Okay. And we have this weird volume problem where the build-up's louder than the drop, and you can hear it here. You should never push the volume here either. Like, maybe you could do it like mid-chain, like down here. The kick's too quiet compared to the bass too. One of the problems you're running into is that everything is kind of loud, and I'm just going to turn everything down so that we can, you know, more flexibly turn things up and down. Yeah, 909 snare would be cool. Put a little bit of reverb on this build up here so that we can, you know, wash it out a bit. I feel like that would be better than the snare you're using. Something like this, Valhalla mix, and just automate it up so we kind of lose that for a second and then comes back in the drop, so like this. So we have this weird problem again, like I was saying, where the drop is quieter than the breakdown or the build-up, and rather than try to like adjust your mix in the build-up, I'm just gonna do the easy route, the easy lazy way, which is to turn down the master pre-limiter so that your master is no longer louder than your your build-up is no longer louder than your drop, so we can compress the drop more and you can get that really like tight compression. I'm gonna drive the input on this to a little bit louder now that we have some freedom to do so. Lot of delay on that too. It's very busy. Make sure that LFO tool is nice and tight too, because it's not really cutting right now. And on this guy too. This one actually doesn't have one, which is a big problem. There. So and he probably just doesn't have one on there because the intro doesn't have sidechain. But when we hit that drop, it needs to. So here's the bass with the new sidechain. A little bit better balanced. See that in the mix now. Let's do the same pattern with a 909 snare like everybody's suggesting. Why is that like off now? That's weird. This thing is just so like hefty. Those little pops up here are really harsh. Maybe put that pre-delay. Oh, that's not it. Let's grab that LFO we did and put it on the snare as well, so we go like sweeps up. Something like that. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than where we were at before. Maybe no delay? Something about this sound is just not fitting right. Yeah, I mean, that's better. I think once the other percussion comes in, it gets less like harsh. I'm still not in love with that. guess it's better than before. The bass is not too much louder. I'm not really trying to make it louder. This doesn't really have any sub to it, though. That is a good point. Maybe we can just take this and do one of these on it. So like everything pre-drop doesn't have any, and then we make this a sub. So you get like only the low end. It's not happy about that. What is chugging? It's like something that's making this do something weird. Oh, it's the pan. No? I'm just gonna lose all the effects on here and just go straight yeah. So we have some sub. There's really no sub to this track, so. Sausage fattener on everything. Yeah. This sub does not need unison. Try like a subby saw. It's kind of nice. And then like LFO tool it like tighter. Yeah, much better. All right, let's hear that in the mix now with the new bass. Just an octave down. I mean, this still needs like a lot of help, but don't want to spend too much time on it. What this is from, but it's just there's too much distortion in the source. It's like that the second half of that doesn't even have any tone. It's just kind of like percussive. So it's creating this really hard mixing environment, but it sounds pretty good. Now we're still like way too much low end relative to our high end though, so probably just grab all these and turn them down a little bit. Oh, definitely don't need reverb on this now. Cool, that's Guard Data Doom Scroll. I like this. It's a cool start. I think it still needs a lot of work and it needs arranging for sure, but I think that we made some solid improvements to this one. This is Gardata Doom Scroll. Everybody give him a clap in the chat. I don't think he's in the chat, but if he is, he can say hi. Okay, that is 2. Next up, let's see what we have here coming up next. Let's see. We did Frescoes and we did Gardata. Both super solid so far. Next up, we have July 20th, 01, Send. So like 2001, like super nostalgia vibes. Thanks, Ricky. Everybody give Ricky Blind Spider a shout in the chat too, because he is the man. You guys better be ready for next week, because we're putting out his new song on Gradient called Vision. It's Deadmau5 supported it. It's a really solid track. So I'll put the pre-save link in the chat if I can find it. Actually, Ricky, I think I sent it to you, didn't I? If you want to, you can put it in the chat. But yeah, Blind Spider's new record comes out next week on Gradient. So shout out to him. All right, this is Vestia. We haven't had a Andy submission in a long time. I hit him up this morning. I'm like, yo, dude, you should send in a track. This is what we got. Let's go ahead and check this out. Oh, as always, that incredible melodic. Andy, we got to work on some music, man. So good. You're like in the Julian Gray wheelhouse in this one. Woo! I hear some mixing things I want to adjust, but melodically this is amazing so far. Woo! I hope you go like full virtual self on this. I don't have trash, but looping. Oh snap. That's fire. I cannot wait to work on this. I don't know how long you guys have been watching, but he used to send in projects a lot, and it's always the best working on him and Tidris's stuff, because it's like my favorite music. Like, this is the kind of stuff I love to write. So let's dive into it. I think melodically it's perfect. Like, there's nothing I would change about it. Musically, I think the most of the stuff that I would adjust is mix stuff. We can prioritize some things. We can add some space. We can, make things sound a little bit more pristine. And I think that you're on your way to like a hit here. I love this. So does anything come in here? So you have like a pad that comes in there. Is that this? Yeah, I would say bring that in earlier, like up here somewhere. So to make it more like interesting up front. Okay. We'll dive into this part in a minute, but I just want to make sure that we build like the space here. I feel like that's really important. So maybe like a little bit more reverb, like a really nice like plate. And maybe like a little bit of like panning could be nice too, like a. Yeah, so a little bounce back between the ears so we get something, you know, really, really nice. Okay, so you're automating that. Trying to give it a little high end. Do you have like noise in this pad? No. Assuming you did because of how noisy that gets, but it's very nice. A little compression maybe. This guy too, like. So my thought is like, what if each one of these hits is on a different pan position, like, like right, left, left, or something? That's kind of cool, like. Other lead muted. This one? So good. So fire. So good. That is really, really, really good. That's like you're writing my favorite music. You're writing my favorite music. Really quick, I want to try this. I might be going too Porter Robinson worlds here, but just this. Hold on. Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Legato. Legato. Man, Andy, we need to have another meetup. I missed that. That was a lot of fun. There we go. There we go. And then I think I might be quiet because I'm missing trash. Yeah. I need to stop doing the staccato thing. You even up one more, and then you could take another one of these and do the like a bass, like a Spitfire. Like a Spitfire. Let's go with like a cello, like a really dark tension cello. That's not it. Do you have Symphony Orchestra by chance? Because I think it was free at one point. I'm just going to use it and I'll freeze it for you because I think it's probably going to do this better. I actually want bass, like a cello kind of too low. So the notes that are carrying through, I'm just gonna carry through. It creates the best real effect because they don't stop bowing the same note when you if you ever seen an orchestra, they don't stop bowing the note when they switch notes. They just carry it through and they add another note to the chord. So yeah, something like this, a little bit more organic. I don't want to spend too much time on this one because it'd be unfair to the others, but this is Andy, this is my favorite genre, so Porter's my king, and you're mini Porter. Yeah, something like this, something like that. Delay up top too, it's pretty unanimous that Porter is like the king to most of us. But I compressed that like sound I added, and then we'll like close the filter a little bit more. I don't want to like reveal to the saw wave. It's kind of like too much, but if I just keep it contained and I keep the harmonics of it in there with a filter, it's very nice. Like. This one up to like here or something, so you have a little bit more progression over time. Okay, I know I keep saying I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this is fire. I'm just going to do this really quick. When you bring in that high lead, bring in a corresponding sub too. So like something like this. Tell me why that sounded exactly like, when I just swept through those, it sounded exactly like something comforting. All right, delete. And keep the compressor on there, and we could get rid of this. So I'm just gonna try to add like a really heavy, like low end, right when that hits. So like when that smacks, it like when that high end comes in, you end up with the low end at the same time. You get this wall of sound. That way when the bass drops back out, you have this really sharp contrast into that like hyper arp section, which is amazing. On your drums, really quickly, I'm gonna make sure that you don't want a lot of low end of this. Just like, I like how knocky that is. It's not like a real strong kick. Slade, hello, welcome. I'm fixing a project right now. It sounds a lot like Porter Robinson. It's very exciting. By the way, any of you who are interested, we are doing a Discord Patreon meetup after this call. All patrons of my YouTube channel can link up and meet up with fellow musicians, big artists, small artists, beginner artists, developing artists, you name it. We do these on the last Saturday of every month, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It starts at 3 p.m. today, which is in an hour and a half-ish. I don't know if that snare has too much mid, or like if it's too much punch for this, but... like the resonant clap like Porter does or Matty on. Let me make sure that we're in the range here. Press that a little bit. Okay, so I think your drop stack is a little dull. And this is the last thing I'm going to do because I don't want to spend too much time on this record, but super tight. Working as fast as I can. Give it a little high-end boost on the drop stack. I think it might be like... I would not suggest doing the high cut like that. It just takes away from the crunch. It does feel a little bit like mono as well. It doesn't feel like stereo enough. What is going on with that unison? Tightened up the side chain a bit too, and I think it's cooler now. You might just have too many kicks too, like it feels like that's just constantly in and out. I would say put this in there somehow. I don't know how. Like maybe a different sound or something. Like so you can have that that pluck in there, because it feels like you lose a bit of energy here because of the speed difference. Like this is implying like a 16th note drop. I love that though. Like the little fill you've done here, impeccable, super cool. Yeah, I think out of the entire song, this is my least favorite part. Like something is weird about the sound design, I think. Like this feels so like full. I mean, granted, it might be the stuff I just added to it, so, but it just feels like fuller and more like. Maybe like that's what it takes, like a little bit of original. Okay, maybe you should try using this melody in the drop rather than something new. I don't know. Lots of cool ideas here. I think that there's so much potential. I'm going to play this through from the start, and we're going to move on to the next one because we already worked on this for like 30 minutes. So, excellent work, Vestia, or Andy, or Andalicious if you're familiar with Gradient Volume 1. Let's go ahead and play this through. It kind of reminds me of Shepherdess by Porter. If you guys are trying to figure out what it is. So I'm thinking, listening back, I think it's the change of chord progression that does it for me. Like if it was this same idea, but with like that same rhythm that you have here, maybe that would be stronger. But excellent work, Andy, Vestia. This is July 21 send, 01 send. Great tune. Hand claps for Vestia in the chat. Of course, it's awesome. Did not expect anything different. And let's get to our last one, which is Essity. I don't know, you name it. This is a Live 11 project, so close that out and move on to the next one. Super, super duper solid. That was awesome. Tangent time. Oh, God. Yeah, it's always tangent time. Julian Gray is like the tangent king on streams. I'm pretty positive I have ADHD I've never been formally diagnosed, but it runs in my family, and I think I do have it. That is sick. Every time, oh my god. Okay, so if you guys have been watching these streams for a while, if you haven't been, every time Essity sends like a really cool like MIDI thing, like he spells like a word or something in MIDI. Did you do that by hand? Because that's impressive if you did. That's crazy. Is that me? Oh my god, that's totally me. I know the picture you used for that too. That's so cool. Dude. I'm gonna use this for something. I don't know what it is, but that's awesome. Cool. Okay. Essity. I don't know. You name it. Let me switch over to Live 11 here in my audio program. And, yeah, we can carry on. Bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a Live 11, and the chat is hidden. Here you are. So, that's so sick. All right, started this track on Wednesday. He says, let's see if it's worthy of the stream. Ooh. Ooh. Fire. Like melodic techno, kind of like Nora and Pure type vibes. You should get this to Purified. Excuse me. Woo! I can tell it's gonna be a journey. Got some Rinzen energy in here. There's a few mixing priority things that I think could be adjusted, like your ARP is seriously loud compared to like your bass. I was expecting a clap to come in there. Maybe you just don't do a clap. Like very like fair play-esque. Fix my project, but can you fix my brain? I don't know about that, man. I can't even fix my own. That's a chunky bass, man. Super solid. Definitely was expecting that clap like around here. Like when you had that little gap. It's like the melodic techno way is to bring in that little micro clap. Bass is so chunky, man. Turn up my sub pack. Go to Burning Man or like Desert Hearts. nice, man. The Korg stuff is really cool. I'm not much of an analog guy, but what I do use is a lot of Korg. Honk. So, as far as this guy goes, there's not too much I would change to like the melodic writing. I might consider adding a clap. That would be really nice, I think. But not like a standard like house clap, just kind of like a melodic techno type micro clap. Really cool. I think the main thing is like a few mixing priorities, but other than that, this is sounding really solid, and I'm impressed that you started this like less than a few days ago. So let me go ahead and hop into this drop. I think this is the drop. I'm thinking the bass is a little bit quiet, so I'm gonna pull that up like 2 decibels or something. Maybe the kick could come up a little bit too, like say -9. Loud on the kick, maybe like -10. What's in my fridge? I just made curry. I have rice in there. I have some vegetables in there, some fruit in there, some yogurt. You know, typical stuff. All right, so bass kick balance is a little bit better now. I think there might be a little bit of dullness to this whole track. Like if we look at a span on the master here, and this is something I generally like to do. I actually haven't done it today yet, because all these tracks can very easily identify what's up. But I usually use a span when I'm doing client mix stuff, just to get a sense of how it looks on paper. So I, negate any biases I have in my listening environment, because I'm not in the best listening environment, but I'm used to it. So let's see if I'm right in that the high end is a little bit dull. So yeah, there's definitely a clear like lack of frequencies like around here. I mean, if we just took an EQ, this is like the laziest way ever. Pre-limiter and just did this. See how more like open that sounds, because the high end is that like that clarity and that punch, and when you have a lot of low end, it feels very distant. As you introduce more high end to your mix or readjust the balance, the high end makes things sound crisp and in the foreground. And you can visualize that on span. We're cranking up these upper highs, and we're already getting a much like sharper sounding mix. But this is like the lazy, non-ideal way of doing this, because you don't want to do this on your master. You'd rather do this on your mix, and this is just like, it's like a band-aid. So what I would say is like try in general to reintroduce some more high end to some of these other elements, like the bass line or like your arps. I don't know how much mileage we can get. Maybe a little bit more. That's generally, I mean, that's pretty low. That's not supposed to be super high anyway. Let's check the melodic. So I feel like this is where we lose a lot. At least in like your drops, give it some of that clarity back, and I feel like you're gonna open up your mix a lot more. Like, a little bit better. One thing about working with analog hardware is that there's not much you can do after you've recorded it. I think that you might have recorded it with a little bit too much low pass because you don't have a lot of freedom to open up that filter in post. What you can do though is, you know, add a little boost like we were doing, just a little bit of high end. You can't generate new high end. So like if you see a curve like this, for example, and there's no frequencies up here, there's only so much you can do by boosting nothing. You can't generate like 10K unless you're using an oscillator or something like that, like another layer. But what you can do is, you know, readjust the balance so that the high end is preferred. And then you can add a little bit more sharpness and clarity to the mix. So. Again, we can't generate this stuff up here that you're missing, but you're not necessarily missing it. It's a creative decision, but in my opinion, it could use a little bit more. Vestia says, give it some air. Yeah, if you guys don't have it, Slate's Air plugin, we used it earlier, is really powerful for this sort of stuff. Just gonna try that really quick, see what it does. Yeah, it's so good. So opens up the high end a little bit more. If we put the spectrum now, see what it did. I feel like it added a lot more harmonics up there. I'm actually gonna toss it on the melodic group too, so we can span. So we can A/B this on and off. So see how much data we lose when we disable what we added. That just added all that crispness up at the top. Yes, Air is like insane. It's the best plugin ever. And if you don't have it, it's free by Slate, and I highly recommend it. So this pad is nice as it is. I don't want to touch this too much. This is like your base background support pad. What I will say is that you could probably do a little bit of pan automation or something on this to make it more interesting. Let's try like 30% at like 0.5 hertz or something. Maybe like 1 hertz. So you get a little bit of movement. Because you want this one to be to the sides, you want this one to be in the middle. Definitely a lot more clarity and room in the mix because of that added high end. That main melody idea is suffering that same problem because it's lacking the high end. It doesn't really come through. I don't want to change your timbre too much, or timbre. So rather than try to, like, you know, open a filter or something, I'm just gonna go ahead and boost the volume, see if we can get away with doing that, almost like ASMR it, where the lower frequencies can still be present if they're loud enough. Yeah. Yeah, that should totally be up there in the front, if that's your main melody as you describe it. Okay, let's hear that in the mix now. Woo! So much more punch. It's like a little bit of like distortion or something. I think that might be in the recording. So this guy is on beats mode. That's why you're getting those little stutters. There's little stutters in between. Switch it to complex or texture or something so that it's not sampling based on the transients. Oh, it seems like you had it on beats mode and then froze it so that it's like in there anyway. Can't tell if it's like maybe it's hitting the limiter or something. No. I have a feeling it was recorded like that, and we're not going to get much mileage out of that. Yeah, like Slade said, you could also double down on the beats mode and try to do the whole glitching it based on the transient triggers. But I think for this, something, you know, more mellow and chill out, it's better to just kind of smooth out the clicks and the weird transient resets. I adore this. I'm going to put that up to like 15 plus. This is just way too quiet. And then on your delay, I'm going to add another delay actually, because this is an automated one. I just want to use like a quarter note and try like a... Get that like super like echoey effect. Okay, maybe I am tripping and it's actually the... No, I don't think so. Okay, so I think those little clicks and those little distortions are actually recorded in. Not much we can do about it. Little added like echo effect, and then like a reverb or something, so we get like a really nice space. And maybe a compressor after the reverb and delay. Let's turn it down to like 12. Yeah, when you're recording, man, just make sure that you're not hitting the red line at all. And then also, when you record, switch beats mode to complex or texture. Otherwise, you get weird transient resets and stuff. So the way Ableton works is that there's different warp modes. So like, it's the fundamental problem is that you can't stretch audio without changing its pitch, and there's algorithms to get around that. And complex and complex pro are like the most like advanced way of stretching audio without changing the pitch. But there's a mode in here that's defaulted called beats mode, and that's basically you use that on drum loops so that it isolates individual transients and it separates the space between the transients rather than trying to stretch the entire thing as one big piece, because drums are transient based. So like you can just add, you know, silence in between them, and then get, you know, you can warp a drum beat from 120 to 175 and just add extra space in between, and then you can alleviate any sort of, you know, stretching artifacts. And that's what Beats does. So when you see like Beats preserve transients, it's detecting the transients. If you do like Beats preserve 1/8 note, if there's like a transient on the 8th note, then it'll add like space in between each 8th note to lengthen the length or what have you. Yeah, so be wary of that and make sure that you're using the right warp mode. I think Slynk, SLYNK, did a really good video on this like years ago. You should go check it out. I would almost say, like, because of how screwed up the like how clicky and how transient-y that lead is, I would just say like add delay or something to really play into it. Like, I know 3 delays, it's crazy, but like unsynced like time-based delay that's really like quick. Like automate the time so you get some cool movement and stuff. Like, hey JC. stuff like that. Give that a go. I'm gonna name this Automate Time. Please. Please. Yeah, it's super cool. Oh yeah, chords are nice. A little quiet too. This is a beautiful track though, man, I gotta say. Compress the reverb maybe a little bit so you get some reduced dynamics on it. I don't believe in high passing subs. I don't think that's a sub, man. That's more like a mid bass. That mix is so good now, though. So, one more thing I'm gonna try before I wrap this one up. I'm gonna toss in like a fair play or like a lane 8 type clap. Maybe not lane 8. Who else does this style? I don't want to say Nora and Pure because it's more like deep house, but like if we did like, I know I have some fair play. FERH packs there. Yeah, I do have a fair play pack, so let's try that. Let's just grab that, and then like I'll grab one of the transients. So we'll do this. So I'm thinking like not like a typical like house rhythm. Rinzin, yeah. It's a little too slow for Black Gummy. Like if this was like here. It wouldn't be that far off from Gummy, but it's too slow. It feels more like, you know. Maybe like. But instead of that, I'll do like a. Maybe like a that. I hate that this is only loops. There's probably a hit folder too in there, but whatever. Let's grab that, and then I'll do this. Grab these secondary ones and do this, and then maybe like a very quick like one, like a quarter note or like a an eighth note delay on that would be so cool. Like so like Rinzen. Something like this. You can even like tune that down too, like like 9. See you, Justin. That's in key. So like you have options here. I mean, you could do this way. You could also go like the Nora and Pure type way. Like that's like the very like Desert Hearts type vibe. You could also do like the typical this sort of thing. But I think it does need like a clap. It really anchors it. Like on this one, like less reverb, like. So that's like more like he was saying before, like Black Gummy, kind of like dark techno into the world of progressive or melodic techno, like. You can try both, like. That's like Fair Play Rinzen type beat. Matt Lang. This is more like, you know, typical progressive. Maybe repeat this too. It's got some chug to it. I'm not impartial to either. I like them both. Or I'm not partial to either. I think that this one might fit the vibe more, though. That's chugging, though, man. Sounds great. So good. It's got like Mandalorian vibes with that little glidey synth, that woo woo. Yeah, Rinzen's another producer. Okay, that leads a little bit loud now in this part. And we can push this limiter a lot more, like. You know who this sounds a lot like is Anakim, a really good friend of mine. He's actually making his Gradient debut very soon, actually in a few weeks. Awesome, this is sounding really good. This is our last project of the day. I think that's all I'm going to do to it. It sounds ace already. Doesn't really need too much more. I think the clap idea is a solid one, and all the mixing changes we did made it a much stronger song. So if you enjoyed this stream and you want to submit next month, make sure to go over to patreon.com/Julian Gray. Oh yeah, everybody give him a round of applause in the chat. That's Essity. Super good track. But if you want to submit next month, go over to patreon.com/Julian Gray and make a pledge, and you can submit. Awesome. Well, that wraps up our monthly Patreon Fix Your Project stream. I will see you guys next month. If you guys are a patron of the channel, and I see a lot of you in the chat, don't hide from me. We are doing a Discord meetup in about an hour, and we're going to have a phone call. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I will see a lot of you in there. If you're not in my Discord, it's discord.gg/JulianGray. And you can hop in, and we are going to continue this conversation there in about an hour. So thank you guys for tuning in. Great songs as always, guys. Really looking forward to next time, and really looking forward to seeing you guys finish these tracks. Really cool. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.